Hey everyone, this is Jess Halloran from the Design System Marketing team. Uh, I wanted to talk a little bit today about what's been going on with user testing for the marketing website. And we have started doing testing with the pricing page. You're probably aware that there was a big launch yesterday. This is the new pricing page, and it looks great. Shout out to Brandon for doing the development work there. Um, but I want to talk to you guys about this part, which is the features. And right now, it is kind of just a long laundry list of every feature that we have. Um, and this was taken from this page, and this one's for self-managed. There's also a SaaS page, two separate ones. So we combine them into one for our MVC, and everything that's self-managed is noted with these 2 stars. Um, but we think that we can actually do better. So in my Figma file, what I've actually designed is to group these features. And then you can also view more if there's a large group. And that'll just give our users a better kind of understanding of how things are organized. And it's pretty common across most sites to do it that way. So what I've been working on, also shout out to Chrome for creating these tabs. I highly recommend it. So what I've been working on is a card sorting test. So if you're not familiar with card sorting, it's just a way to kind of organize things that you aren't really sure how they should be organized yet. And before I had access to user testing, I actually did a card sort with a couple of our developers in Miro. So shout out to Javi and Sami for helping with this. And they took all 150 features that we have, which is a lot, and grouped them into the 7 categories. So that was just kind of a starting point for us to see where we could go from here. But then I did get access to user testing, and I've been, excuse me, slowly working on these tests. We kind of started with what we call an open card sort. So an open card sort is, here we go. This is an example of an open card sort. This is one of the tests that was run. We split up all of the 150 items into groups of 50. So they had 50 items here on the left, and they had a blank page on the right. And they could take an item from the left and put it over here and create a group. And eventually they would look something like this. So in the end, you could kind of see um, what groups were created. And the idea was kind of to see, as we did a bunch of tests, if anything was coming up routinely. Um, and then once we did that, we realized there were actually 4 things that were definitely coming up a lot. So let me just pull up open groups. Yes. So we did all these tests. And again, we had to do 3 tests because we had to do the first 50, the second 50, the third 50. And you can see there's a bunch of different things that were happening, and I color coded the ones that were being repeated and saw things like security, project management, support, and testing were pretty consistent across all 150 items. So then what we did is a hybrid card sort, which I think is this one. So in this case, we took, again, the same thing. We gave them 50 items, but this time we gave them predetermined groups of testing, project management, support, and security. And then so they could put them either in those groups or create additional groups. So they might not all fit in those groups. We don't expect them to. And then one other thing I'll note here is there's also a group called I don't know or I'm unsure. And what we did with those, here it is. It was just, we didn't want people to guess at what something was. So we said, if you don't know, just put it in this group. And then, we did ask them to tell us why they put it there or think about what it might be. Some people answered the question, some people didn't. But if we start to see a lot of things in this group, so there's one in particular that stands out, which is this multi-level epics. It might be something to look into and say, hey, maybe we should reword this, or maybe there's a better way we can think about saying it. So there's a few things that come up repeatedly, and I've color coded things, so like the redder it gets, the more often it's been brought up in an I don't know. And then similarly, at the end of each one, we ask them, okay, if you were buying the product or just using the product, what things would you want to know what would be most important for you to know? So again, just to see what comes up routinely, and what we can do with this is say, Okay, something like vulnerability management. Again, it's darker green because more people have said it. That's something really important. So when we make these groups, we want to make sure that they're, the first or second or third feature on that list. Um, and so then what I did, so I had those hybrid tests out. And again, we had these kind of pre-existing um, categories for groups. And then I wanted to see like what other groups are coming in, but we really weren't seeing anything consistent in these additional groups. So what I decided to do was, let me go to my features list, I think. Nope, here we go. So here's a list of all 150 features that we have. And if they're self-managed, you'll see this kind of orangey bar, and you'll see that it doesn't exist under SaaS. That's all that is. But I took everything and I said, okay, this is being repeatedly called project management, so let's put it under that group. Um, and that way we could kind of be like, okay, these are definitely defined and we don't need to keep asking about them. And um, took all of the, so we got 70 of those features are already, we're good. We know where they belong, so we don't need to keep asking about them. But we still have 80 features that we're not sure about. So my next step is to take these 80 features, which I just put in another doc to easily grab, and I started another open card sort again, so like they don't have any groups at all. They're starting from scratch. And I gave them, 1 through 40 and then 40 through 80. And I'm hoping that because they're grouped slightly differently, maybe we'll get some new, fresh answers as to what these could actually mean. So keeping an eye on those, that's where I am right now. And hopefully soon we'll know exactly where all of the features sit. So right now we're pretty solid in, oops, which is this one? It's pretty solidly know where about half the features live or should live. And we'll see where the other 80 end up pretty shortly. I just want to give you guys a heads up on where we're at with that. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to reach out. I'm on Slack at Jessica Halloran, one of those. And yeah, we'll keep you posted on progress. That's all.